Ammo is crazy expensive and hard to find, and dry fire is life. I use the Mantis X10 to keep my handgun skills strong, and it makes dry practice fun and challenging. Check it out at the link below.
Hey guys, welcome to Mantis Dry Fire Monday. I'm Brian with the Complete Combatant, and I've got your Dry Fire Monday practice tips for you today. When we're learning a new skill, it is incredibly difficult to process all the information. So a good activity is called chunking. You break the activity into small parts, and then you chunk those together so that you can remember a longer stream of information. It's incredibly useful, all right? But once you get past the point of learning a new skill, you need to start networking the learning. We always talk about the fundamentals of shooting, and if you try to apply every fundamental individually, what you'll have is too much observance. You won't be able to follow each fundamental. You'll never be quite sure what's going wrong. So what we want to do is we want to chunk them back together in a big group, and then we want to have something that is our guiding principle always while we're training. So for me, stance and grip are always the same thing. Where does grip stop? I don't know. Does it stop at my forearms? Does it stop at my shoulders? Is it the connection of the core? Is it the way I grip the floor? The better my stance, the better my grip. The better my grip, the more I'm engaging my stance. So to me, that becomes one unifying fundamental, and it's my posture relative to grabbing the gun. So put that together. That one will tell you when you're misaligned. All right, so if you just put that under misalignment, if the sight comes out in the wrong place on the draw, that's your misalignment. The other one is sights and trigger. Sights by themselves are just looking at something, and then trigger by itself is just pressing with no verification of where it went. So they have to work together. Sights and trigger will always be a synergistic relationship. The sights tell you how quickly you can press the trigger relative to the size of the target. So that's a decisional speed. Should I go or do I need to correct? And then the final one is, some people term it follow through. I like process better, is staying in the process. And I call this the corrective principle. If I'm staying in the process, the question always should be, what am I seeing and feeling? Right this second, what am I seeing and feeling? I'm the pure observer at that point, and I'm trying to see and feel what I'm doing. If I'm not doing that, I'm reflecting on what happened in the past, or I'm guessing what's going to happen in the future. I need to be fully present. If I'm fully present and observing the other fundamentals as I shoot, then what do I get? I'll be able to correct pretty quickly. Observing leads to recognizing leads to correction, and then we can do our diagnostic ability with it and really make sure that we improve. So you're kind of wondering, what does that all mean? If my basics are good, all right, and I understand these things, I simply, every time I practice whatever skill I'm practicing, I recognize what the level of that skill is. So say we're working on the draw. Let me get my gun out here for you, okay? Physically and visually verified it. Dummy rounds, we're good to go. Couple racks and set. So say I was doing a draw drill today like I did this morning in practice. All right, what I want to do is I want to network all these skills together. So I just simply set myself up in a good stance. I orient myself to the target, okay? I get myself set up, put my hands in the place I want, draw the gun. Now, when I drew that time, the red dot came exactly where I wanted it to be. That's wonderful, okay? So now I have some information. That means that my grip and posture were really good because there was no misalignment to it. And then sights and trigger were fine because I saw the sights, my finger was on the trigger, and I'm ready to press. So therefore I can do what? Well, at this point, it depends what I'm practicing. If I'm practicing speed mode, I'm going to become more efficient. I'm going to try to do that in less and less time. If I'm practicing accuracy mode, I'm going to try to press the most perfect shot that I'm capable of to hit the target precisely. And if I'm in performance or match mode, as Steve Anderson calls it, what I'm going to do is try to see the dot and call my shot each time, remain present in the process. So that's kind of what we're doing now, is remaining present. So I'm going to go to the top of my skill level here and see how quickly I can do that same action. Okay, so there was some problems in that one. Two things happened, and I'm simply observing it. I'm going to close my eyes and feel what happened also. So when I went to clear the shirt, I didn't quite get it 100%, and as my hands came together, my left hand really hit the trigger guard. Instead of indexing on my middle knuckle, I hit the trigger guard too hard, and it bumped the sights off the process. So now I've observed it, I recognized what happened there, and now I need to correct it. What really happened was too much tension in my technique. I was trying to go fast, As soon as we rush, try and hurry, what happens? Things go askew. So now I'm going to stop that. Take a deep breath, visualize what I want. That was a good draw. So yes, I had a good draw there. Everything's good. So now I pick up the pace a little bit more. This visualization process and exhaling allows you to get rid of the tension and put yourself fully present in the process so you observe what you're doing. Okay, that was a quicker draw. Felt like, but I don't really know. So I'm going to start putting a par timer on to check each time. It did come out a little bit to the left, so I need to make a correction here. Now, I could say it was my left hand wasn't gripping enough, so let's make that correction right now. I'm going to look at the left hand, see if I need to correct it. I'm going to feel the left hand, see if I need to correct it. Okay, I corrected a lot with the left hand, and now the sights went to the right. So maybe I overcorrected, but I'm also going to try something completely different. You can't see my feet, but my right foot's pointed out slightly to the right. What could be happening is, since I'm not really pointing toward the target, I'm driving my body to the side. So I'm going to correct my hips, foot, and knee and my grip on my right side and drive straight to the target. And there we came out straight to the target. Now it was a little low. What happened? And I observed it. I saw the dot come through and I kept pressing through, so I overextended that time. So I'm going to stop a little sooner instead of trying to push the gun out so fast and hard. Visualize, exhale, execute. Still a little bit of roll down. So let's get rid of that roll down. I'm seeing it, I'm observing it. All right, the corrective action is I want to let my elbows be a little more relaxed. That was very good. So now I want to do that over and over again. That's how I correct things. That's how I'm getting continuous feedback, because I'm creating a network of learning where it's all connected together. It's not something just as simple as saying I slapped the trigger, or I didn't grip with my left hand, or my stance is not good. I must feel the whole system as it's working. I must really observe it. And what we have is an intuitive ability, and Gary Klein's talked about this in his work, is he calls it recognition prime decision making. And that's pretty much what shooting is. I see the same pattern over and over, and if everything's correct, I execute. If it's not, I correct and then execute. So you should be observing at the highest level, always asking yourself, what am I seeing, what am I feeling? Because that gives you two ways to improve this. You're not only seeing, but you're feeling. You're not only feeling, but you're seeing. They have to work together. And then our basics are connected instead of being fundamentally separate parts. The way we interact with the gun is one, what we're seeing and how we press the trigger is the other, but are we staying present is always the one that rules them all. That's always our guiding principle, and that's our corrective principle. Observe, recognize what went wrong, and then correct it. You're going to find that you can learn at an accelerated level if you'll do this. As long as you're chasing one detail and you think it's this thing, it's very hard to correct. What we have to do is use every sense that we have and really pay attention to it. And then we can correct at a greater level. No matter what drill you're doing on the Mantis, or if you're doing live fire, every shot needs to be fully observed. And you'll make really quick corrections this way. Be engaged with what you're doing and all the time. Ammo's expensive, so let's not waste it. Let's get every bit of data, every bit of feeling and sight that we can out of every shot. And let's make the biggest improvement we can. I think we shoot too much sometimes as high-level shooters. We always want to shoot. But what's really important is not how many rounds, but how much information we get from it and how we apply that information. All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. Thanks for paying attention. I'm Brian Hill with the Complete Combatant. This is Active Self-Protection Extra. We thank you. And as always, remember, measure, refine, and perform.